Elon Musk's worst nightmare has arrived, and Tesla is in big trouble because the threat is no longer distant. It is no longer a future warning, a small competitor, or a company hoping to copy Tesla from behind. This time, the pressure is coming from a rival system that can move faster, cut deeper, and challenge the image Tesla spent years building. For a long time, Tesla looked like the name every electric car had to answer to. But something has changed. The market that once made Tesla feel untouchable is now filling with companies that do not need permission to compete. They are not waiting for Tesla to slow down. They are forcing Tesla to prove that its lead was more than timing, branding, and early momentum. That is why this moment feels dangerous for Elon Musk. The trouble is not only that another electric vehicle company is growing. The trouble is that Tesla's old advantage is being tested in the one place where confidence matters most: the numbers. And once the numbers start moving against a company built on dominance, the mystery becomes harder to ignore. What exactly arrived? And why does it make Tesla's future look more uncertain than ever? Tesla's image used to feel almost untouchable in the EV world. For years, every new electric car was measured against Elon Musk's company, and most rivals looked late. But by 2023 to 2024, the gap had narrowed. Tesla was still powerful, but the market no longer looked like one leader and everyone else chasing from far behind. BYD's Q4 2023 breakthrough created the first major crack. In that quarter, BYD surpassed Tesla in global battery electric sales, taking away a title that had helped define Tesla's dominance. The moment mattered because it was not about opinion or hype. It was sales data showing that another company could beat Tesla at its own game. Tesla's global share tells the wider pattern. Around 2020, Tesla held roughly 65% of the global EV market. By 2024, that share had fallen closer to 18 to 20%. A growing market can still make Tesla successful, but a shrinking share changes the meaning of success. Dominance becomes harder to defend when the field expands around you. China's pressure made the weakness more visible. Tesla faced major price cuts, margin compression, and market share losses in the world's most aggressive EV battlefield. Lower prices helped defend sales, but they also weakened the profit cushion. Tesla is not collapsing. The real question is whether the advantage that once made it untouchable is being dismantled piece by piece. Tesla's position is still serious, but the old certainty is gone. The topic is not whether Tesla dies tomorrow or whether Elon Musk has already lost. The real investigation is sharper. Can Tesla's early lead survive a market where BYD, China, and other fast-moving rivals keep closing the distance? The first real alarm came when Tesla was no longer the clear EV sales king. And that moment began with BYD taking the crown in Q4 2023. Q4 2023 became the moment Tesla could no longer claim the same untouchable lead. In that quarter, BYD sold more battery electric vehicles than Tesla for the first time in a single quarter. One sales window does not decide an entire industry, but it crossed a line Elon Musk's company never wanted crossed. Tesla's brand power had been built on leadership. For years, Tesla was not only another EV maker, it was the symbol of the electric future. Buyers, investors, and rivals all measured progress against Tesla. So when BYD moved ahead in battery electric sales, the meaning was bigger than a quarterly ranking. BYD's rise was not coming from an experimental startup or a lucky launch. It came from a massive Chinese automaker with scale, battery control, aggressive pricing, and a deep production base. BYD had the pieces that make a threat last: factories, supply chains, lower-cost models, and the ability to keep pressure on Tesla beyond one headline. Direct competition made the conflict harder to ignore. Models like the BYD Seal and Atto 3 targeted buyers who might otherwise look at Tesla. They were not chasing some separate market. They were moving into the same decision space, where price, range, design, and brand trust all matter at once. Tesla still remained a giant, but the question had changed. The old version was simple: who could catch Tesla? After Q4 2023, the sharper question became, Can Tesla stop BYD before BYD turns one sales victory into a pattern? That is where the conflict became real. A single quarter can be dismissed as temporary. Unless Tesla's own financial numbers begin showing the same pressure underneath. Tesla's gross margin gave the first hard sign that the pressure was becoming real. In Q4 2022, the figure was about 25.6%. By Q2 2024, it had fallen to roughly 17.4%. That drop mattered because margins show how much room a company has to fight back before every price cut starts cutting into strength. Tesla's price cuts came during the same period, and that made the margin decline harder to ignore. The company was lowering prices to defend demand while rivals like BYD pushed cheaper EVs into the market. Lower prices can protect sales for a while, but they also reveal pressure when the cost shows up in profit. Lower margin means Tesla was making less profit per vehicle than before. That is not the same as collapse, but it changes the business equation. A company can sell many cars and still feel the squeeze if each car brings in less money. In the EV race, volume matters, but profitable volume matters more. Tesla's premium image was built on brand power, technology, and the belief that buyers would pay more for the Tesla name. The falling margin challenged that idea. A premium brand can cut prices, but every cut asks the same question: was the premium still strong enough? That is where the old confidence began to weaken. Tesla's strategy no longer looked like pure growth by choice. The evidence suggests the company was being forced to protect volume while competitors closed in. BYD, China's EV market, and lower-cost rivals changed the pressure around Tesla. The problem was not only selling more cars, it was defending the lead without bleeding the profit that made the lead powerful. The strange part is that Tesla's own response may have confirmed how serious the pressure had become, because the next move looked less like dominance and more like defense. Tesla's price cuts exposed a weakness that normal sales numbers could hide. During 2023 to 2024, the company cut prices by 20 to 40% across parts of its model lineup. On the surface, lower prices looked like a weapon, but in a market crowded by BYD, China, and cheaper EVs, every cut also raised a harder question. Was Tesla still setting the price or reacting to pressure? The Model Y showed the change clearly. In the US, its price dropped from around $65,990 to around $42,990. For buyers waiting on the sidelines, that made the vehicle more reachable. But for Tesla, it also changed the meaning of the Model Y. A car once protected by premium pricing was now being pulled into a more aggressive price fight. Tesla's deliveries may have been protected by those cuts, but the brand image took damage. A premium product depends on stability, confidence, and the feeling that buyers are getting lasting value. A price cut can protect today's sale, but it can also weaken tomorrow's belief in the brand. That is the danger hidden inside the discount. Earlier, Tesla owners felt the pressure in a different way. Customers who bought before the cuts saw resale values weaken, and some became frustrated. A cheaper new Tesla can make an older Tesla worth less overnight. That matters because brand loyalty depends not only on new buyers, but on existing owners feeling protected. Pricing power is the real issue. Price cuts can solve a short-term sales problem, but they can also reveal that a company has lost the ability to charge what it once could. For Tesla, the concern was not just lower prices. It was the possibility that BYD, China's EV market, and rising competition had forced the company to defend demand instead of commanding it. And nowhere was that loss of pricing power more dangerous than in Tesla's most important overseas battlefield. The next pressure point was China, the market where the price war became impossible to ignore. China's market matters because it is not a side battlefield for Tesla. It is the company's second largest market and represents about 25% of Tesla's global revenue. When pressure rises there, it does not stay local. It moves straight into the company's growth image, its pricing power, and the belief that Tesla can keep leading the EV world. China also accounts for roughly half of global EV sales, which makes it the most important electric vehicle market on Earth. Winning in America is powerful, but winning in China proves a company can survive the toughest price fights, fastest launches, and most aggressive buyer comparisons. Losing ground there means losing strength in the place where the future is being tested first. Tesla's China share shows why the concern became serious. Around 2020, Tesla held about 30% of the market. By 2024, that figure had fallen to around 8%. A drop like that does not mean Tesla vanished. It means the old control weakened, while domestic rivals learned how to compete on price, features, and speed. BYD, NIO, Li Auto, XPeng, and Huawei-backed AITO increased the pressure from every direction. BYD attacked with scale and cost. NIO and XPeng pushed technology and software. Li Auto found buyers in family-focused vehicles. AITO brought Huawei's tech identity into the fight. Tesla was no longer defending against one rival. It was surrounded. Tesla's China problem became bigger than ordinary competition because it threatened the global growth story. Investors did not only believe Tesla could sell cars, they believed it could dominate the electric future. If Tesla loses strength in China, it loses proof that its lead can survive the hardest EV market on Earth. That is why this battlefield matters. But to understand why Tesla struggled there, the investigation has to look deeper. The real machinery behind the pressure begins with BYD's rise. Tesla financial reports give the investigation its first hard trail. The question is not built on rumors or one dramatic launch. It depends on delivery figures, market share data, documented price changes, and margin movement. Those numbers show whether Tesla is still commanding the market or whether pressure from BYD and China's EV sector is entering the business itself. BYD's rise can be measured through more than headlines. Its battery electric sales, global expansion, and direct model competition show how serious the threat has become. BYD is not only selling cheap cars in one market, it is building a wider EV presence and placing models against buyers who might once have looked first at Tesla. Tesla's margin compression reveals the pressure after the price war intensified. When prices fall, deliveries may hold for a while, but profits per vehicle become harder to protect. That matters because Tesla's old strength was not only volume. It was the ability to sell EVs with strong margins while rivals struggled to catch up. China market share data shows whether Tesla is losing to one company or to a full local ecosystem. The answer matters because BYD, NIO, XPeng, Li Auto, and other Chinese brands do not attack the same way. One rival can be answered with one product. An ecosystem forces Tesla to defend every part of its lead. Battery cost comparisons explain why BYD can compete so aggressively on price. Control over batteries, supply chains, and manufacturing gives BYD room to cut prices without copying Tesla's cost structure. Once sales, margins, market share, pricing, and battery costs are placed side by side, the picture becomes clearer. Serious pressure, not instant collapse. The evidence does not say Tesla is finished. It says BYD's rise is real enough to force the next question. How much of Tesla's old advantage is still protected? Tesla's evidence does not show a company near bankruptcy, and it does not prove Tesla is finished. Elon Musk's company still sells at global scale, still has millions of loyal buyers, and still holds a serious place in the EV market. The finding is more precise. Survival is not the question. Dominance is. Tesla's market share, margins, and pricing power have all weakened under pressure. The old picture was simple. Tesla led, and everyone else followed. But after BYD's rise, China's price war, and repeated price cuts, that picture changed. Tesla could still compete, but it could no longer act like the market would wait. BYD's strength comes from structure, not luck. Its scale, vertical integration, and battery cost control give it room to push prices lower without depending only on hype. BYD controls more of the machine behind the vehicle, from batteries to production, and that makes its pressure harder for Tesla to brush aside. Tesla's advantages are still real. It has software experience, brand power, supercharger access, FSD ambitions, and years of manufacturing knowledge. These are not small things. Tesla is not losing because it has no strengths. It is under pressure because its strengths are no longer rare. That is the shift the evidence reveals. Tesla's first-mover moat is no longer enough by itself. Being early gave Tesla power, attention, and trust, but BYD, China, and newer EV rivals are now attacking the same ground with speed and lower costs. The revelation is narrower than collapse, but stronger than comfort. Tesla must now defend what it once owned. But one missing Tesla product makes the threat much harder to ignore. And that missing product sits exactly where BYD is becoming most dangerous. Tesla's affordable EV promise has been one of the biggest unanswered pieces in its future plan. For years, Tesla has pointed toward a roughly $25,000 electric vehicle that could reach far beyond premium buyers. The idea mattered because Elon Musk's company built its image on making EVs desirable first, then making them cheaper later. But the cheaper part became harder as rivals moved faster. Step 1 research showed the problem clearly. The expected mass-market $25,000 Tesla had not arrived in its promised form. Tesla still had strong vehicles, strong software, and a powerful brand, but the missing affordable model left a gap. In a market where BYD, China, and other EV makers were already moving lower, delay became more than a product issue. It became a strategic weakness. BYD and other competitors were already selling vehicles closer to the affordable segment Tesla needed to enter. That changed the pressure, because lower-cost buyers are not waiting forever for a future Tesla. They compare what is available now: price, range, features, and basic trust. BYD could meet those buyers earlier, while Tesla was still trying to protect its premium image. Affordable EV growth matters because the next wave will not only come from wealthy buyers or early adopters. Future EV adoption depends on families, commuters, and first-time electric buyers who care about monthly payments more than brand mythology. If Tesla stays too high in the market, BYD gains room below it. That lower segment may decide who controls global growth. Tesla's missing low-cost answer makes the threat harder to ignore. If Tesla cannot compete lower in the market, BYD may control the area where global EV adoption expands fastest. The danger is not that Tesla has no future. The danger is that BYD is already selling into the future Tesla keeps promising. That is the real complication now. The next question is whether Tesla's future technology can outrun BYD's present-day cost advantage, because promises only matter if they arrive before the market moves on. Tesla's position did not change because the company suddenly became weak. The larger shift was happening around it. By the time BYD, China, and other EV rivals gained speed, the market had become harder, cheaper, and more crowded. Tesla still had scale, brand power, and technology, but the road ahead no longer belonged to one clear leader. BYD and Chinese EV makers caught up across the areas that once protected Tesla. Range improved. Features became stronger. Battery systems became cheaper. Manufacturing speed increased. Pricing became more aggressive. China's EV market turned into a pressure chamber where BYD, NIO, XPeng, and Li Auto learned to compete fast, launch fast, and force buyers to compare every detail. Tesla's response was price cuts, and those cuts helped defend demand. But every discount carried a cost. Lower prices reduced the margin advantage that investors once valued so highly in Tesla. Tesla could still sell cars, but the deeper question was whether it could sell them with the same power it once had. That is where the pressure became visible. The old Tesla formula no longer works the same way. Premium EVs, a strong brand, a technology lead, and limited competition once gave Elon Musk's company a clear path. But BYD, China's EV ecosystem, and lower-cost rivals changed the rules. A strong brand still matters, but it cannot protect every price point when competitors keep closing the gap. The most realistic version is not that Tesla is finished. It is that Tesla is now fighting like an automaker inside a brutal global price war. BYD has made cost a weapon. China has made speed normal. The mystery is not whether Tesla still matters. The mystery is whether its old advantage can survive this new kind of war. And that leaves one final question Tesla cannot answer with past success. Can Elon Musk's company build the next advantage before BYD turns today's pressure into tomorrow's standard? Tesla's future now depends on one difficult question. Can it deliver a truly affordable EV without destroying its margins? A cheaper car could bring Tesla into the mass market it has promised for years. But if the price is too low, the company may protect volume while weakening the profit that made its lead so valuable. FSD, Dojo, 4,680 cells, and software differentiation still give Tesla possible ways back to stronger leadership. These are the pieces that could separate Elon Musk's company from ordinary automakers again. If they work at scale, Tesla may not need to win only on price. It could rebuild its edge through technology buyers cannot easily find elsewhere. BYD's advantage is more dangerous because it is already working now. Its battery cost control, vertical integration, production scale, and lower-cost EV lineup are not future promises. They are present-day weapons. BYD can pressure the market today, while Tesla tries to prepare the next version of its strategy. Europe and other global markets could turn this pressure into a much larger problem. If BYD expands deeper outside China, Tesla may face China-style competition in more regions at once. Lower prices, faster launches, battery control, and smart features could follow Tesla across the map, making the fight harder to contain. Elon Musk's worst nightmare may not be BYD alone. The deeper fear is that Tesla's most important advantage has already expired. Tesla may not be dying, but the age when everyone else was chasing Tesla may already be over. That is the final unresolved question behind the entire conflict. Tesla still has weapons left, but BYD has already turned the future into a price fight happening right now.